Steve, time for your time. What did you make of it?
Well, it was a difficult evening for us. We're not going to kid ourselves, are we? You know, we've got off to an awful start, and I think that's 4 or 5 times now. We find ourselves 1-0 down away from home in the first 5 minutes. And the one thing you can't do here is go behind so early, and they're confident enough. And to be fair to us, they stuck at it and they needed to, because that first 10-15 minutes was pretty tough to say the least. At the end of the day, they're a fantastic team. We've got some wonderful football players, and they're confident, and they score early against us, and it made for a really difficult evening for us. We can't see anything else.
Having said that, you got to 1-0 at half-time when it looked as though you might be on for a chasing in the first half. Well, so are you thinking, can we nick something here at half-time?
Well, you wanted to go. You needed to go into 60, 70 minutes. And then in the last 15, 20 minutes, we've had 3 or 4 opportunities, haven't we? George Boyd, 2 headers. Jake Livermore's through and he smashes a shot straight at the goalkeeper. But, you know, we've conceded just after half-time again. And it looked to me as if the ball's gone out of play and I think everybody stopped. But, you know, we've made it really difficult for ourselves. Thankfully, they've stuck at it, which they needed to, because if they hadn't have done, it might have been one of them awful evenings where you can be on the end of a thumping from a very, very good Arsenal team.
So what do you pick out the game? What sort of lessons do you and the team learn, maybe?
Well, I think sometimes, we're in no illusion. Yeah. We're coming to Arsenal here, we're top of the league, and you can see why. They're all confident. They've had the luxury of making 5 changes today. They bring in Cazorla and Bendtner and all these top players who play at this level. And that's what we've got to aspire to. That's the level we're at. When you come here and see the stadium, the atmosphere, the whole thing is top class. And thankfully, today we've still shown a bit of resilience and a bit of fight, and we've managed to come away with our pride still intact, because it was very difficult for us.
Were you worried before the game your team might be a bit leggy, having played a game after?
Well, that was always my fear, where Arsenal, I said, can make 5 changes. There was no problem that we would stick at it. I knew that, but when you've just run, and people say, well, you can play a football match every day. Of course you can, but you can't get to the levels of intensity so quick. In 3 days for us, David Myler and Jake Livermore in particular covered nearly 13 kilometres on Sunday. To ask them to go and do it again on a Wednesday with the same intensity takes some doing. But overall, listen, we've rolled our sleeves up and we had to, but we have to say the better team on the day showed what a good side they are.
Made a couple of changes. James Chester back in after sort of 10 weeks out. Are you happy with the way he came?
Well, I couldn't have wished for a more difficult baptism, could he? But he stuck at it, and as I said, all of them did. Because they had to. Because Arsenal in that mood are a match for any team in Europe, and that's why they've just proven today why they've got a chance of winning this thing, because they're a good side. Simple as that.
What about Danny Graham? You brought him back in tonight. He doesn't look to be going forward necessarily, Steve. He looks as though he's gone back a little bit.
Well, he's for me, he hasn't still recovered over the injury he's had, and he has to keep working at it. When Danny's been out 4 or 5 weeks, it's difficult for him. James Chester's been out 10 weeks, but he's a different shape, a different body build. He has to stick with it, Danny. He's gone through one of them awful ones which strikers get, and unfortunately confidence is something what you can't have in a bottle or on a shelf. It either comes with him scoring a goal and and getting himself up and running again. Everybody's been through it. The boy here, Giroud, didn't have the best of starts, did he? All of a sudden this year, it's come to life. So he's got to stay with it and stay strong and prove to people that he's still a good player.
You've been linked with Nicklas Bendtner a couple of times. He was maybe a surprise to us. He was in the side tonight. Have you any chance of getting him in January? Is he up for grabs?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it's difficult for me to comment on other people's players, of course. But the one thing that we knew was always going to be difficult is the level of salary he earns. Right. Which probably puts him past us.
Okay. And I understand you might have been out to have a look at somebody in France. Anything in that?
Well, I'm always trying to take in a game. I was in France, and I was in Greece the week before that. I was in Spain the week before that, and that's my job, to scour as much as I possibly can. And when I get the opportunity, I always go to try and have a look at something and see if we can unearth something.
Have you made any offers for anybody?
No.
Anything firm?
No.
Or
no, not yet.
Still looking?
Still looking.